Okay, so I had a stupid day at work today, so now I want to talk about something fun, which is, pretty much anything that has to do with haunted things. And I don't want to do a lot of editing. I actually want to put very little and minimal amount of effort into this video as possible. So we're going to talk about 10 things, 10 signs that your house might be haunted. Clearly, I wasn't prepared for this. So let's have some fun. So the first one is cold spots or unexplained cold spots, which I don't know, it's 1,000,000 degrees outside right now. So if you have an unexplained cold spot in your house, could be a ghost. Paranormal investigators believe that the spirits draw energy from the air around the environment, so it creates these icy patches. So if you have an unexplained cold spot in your home, could be a spirit. Number 2 is phantom footsteps. I've never heard phantom footsteps in my house, but I feel like that would freak me out. So it matters because repeated footsteps in any empty area, especially the same time of night, could be a classic sign of a residual haunting. So the residual haunting is the one where it's like a tape player, right? Like they just repeat the same actions over and over and over again. So phantom footsteps, number 2, could be a sign your house is haunted. Could also mean you have loud neighbors too. Objects moving on their own. Yep, I think that's a good sign that your house is haunted. Sign of poltergeist activity often begins with subtle object displacement before escalating. Yeah, that would freak me out. I've never actually had stuff move on its own in my house. I've thought it's moved on its own, but usually it's just air or a window open. But I've seen some pretty convincing stuff online. And I don't know. I think that would be pretty good. That would mean your house is haunted. Number 4, electrical disturbances. I think there's a meme that says if your lights flicker, it's 99% paranormal shit and 1% electrical issues. But yeah, so it said that spirits are said to manipulate the electromagnetic energy that causes these erratic behaviors in technology and tech devices. That's what it says. So electrical disturbances, flashing lights, flickering lights, your stuff turning on and off, could very well be a sign of a ghost. Shadow figures. I think this is a good indication that your house is haunted if you have shadow figures in your home. But shadow people are often reported in haunted locations and are associated with high paranormal activity. Again, yep, I think that would classify your house as haunted if there were shadow people in it. That would be freaky. Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't want that one. I guess same with the next one. Number 6, disembodied voices or whispers. Yeah, I don't want that either. I don't really want any of this so far. Cold spots, yes, because again, it's 1,000,000 degrees outside. But disembodied voices or whispers, it matters because EVP or electronic voice phenomena is one of the most common forms of spirit communication, my notes say. So if you hear voices without bodies or whispers without bodies, that's how you get a haunting. That's how it happens. Number 7, sudden emotional changes. Spirits can leave behind energy that affects people's moods and perceptions. This is especially common in places with trauma or tragedy. Yeah, I can see it. I have teenagers though, so sudden emotional changes, are they haunted or is the house haunted? Or is the house haunted because of them? That too. Also, my kids, if you came into my house and you didn't know that I had kids, you would think I had a poltergeist, because you can walk in the kitchen and I will have just been in there and cleaned everything and come out and come back in. All the cupboard doors are open. All the drawers are pulled out. There's knives and forks everywhere. So maybe my children are poltergeists. Number 8, reoccurring nightmares or sleep paralysis. This is actually pretty freaky. I did a video, I think it was years ago now, on some different sleep paralysis facts. And some of this stuff is pretty creepy. And I've never experienced sleep paralysis, thank God. And I feel for you guys that have. But one of the things I think is the craziest thing I learned about sleep paralysis is that it is universal among cultures. What you see in your sleep is related to your cultural beliefs. So someone in Europe is going to have a very different sleep paralysis experience than someone in Latin America. So I thought that was interesting. But that being said, the one common thread that has been reported for hundreds of years when it comes to sleep paralysis is the old hag. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the old hag syndrome, but that old hag that people see while they're in their state of sleep paralysis has been universally reported across cultures and for hundreds of years. That's pretty freaky. Number 9 is feeling watched. So this being watched sensation is one of the first indicators to people that they feel like paranormal activity is beginning in their home. And I would assume it's like a sudden feeling of being watched. And I don't know. I've heard that like we have heightened senses, and you know, listen to your gut, man. If you feel like you're being watched, maybe you're being watched. Maybe you're being watched by a ghost. Who knows? Maybe you're being watched by a creepy neighbor too. I don't know. I watch too much TV. I just automatically default to creepy neighbors most of the time. Number 10 is, I think, the creepiest one by far, because this actually has happened to me, which is your pets start acting strange. Animals are believed to be the most sensitive to the paranormal and often react before humans notice anything. I have a dog that will freak out for no reason. He'll be dead asleep on the floor, and I don't know if he has a scary dream, but he'll get up and he'll start barking at stuff that's not there, just acting really strange and really timid. My kids used to think that it meant that our house was haunted. I don't believe our house is haunted. I feel like if our house was haunted, I would know about it because I like this stuff, and I would be maybe I wouldn't see it because I want to, but I do see my dog acting very strange. And this just reminded me of a story of a friend of mine. She told me she owns a gym here in the city that I live at, and I was talking to her, and she has 2 cats that stay in the gym overnight. And she said one of her cats, she came upstairs and she couldn't find him. It was up in the upper part of the gym. She couldn't find him and ended up finding him in a locked room in like the attic part of the building. It was kind of strange. She showed me where it was, and she's like, there's just no way this cat could have gotten in there on his own. And then she said that he wouldn't leave the door. Like she got him to come out, but then he would just sit in front of the door and then make these really weird noises and like weird movements with his head. It was very, very strange. I kind of want to see it though. I'm not going to lie. We might do an investigation there. It should be fun. Anyway, so that's the 10 signs that your house might be haunted. I don't know what you're going to do with that information, but good luck sleeping tonight.